ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Michael and Mike from Inspirage. They'll be discussing extending and expanding the strategic value of PLM. Let's give them a nice round of applause to get them started.
Okay, exactly. Thank you very much for spending some of your very valuable time with us. First of all, I'll do some quick introductions if that's okay. Mike, myself, and PJ and Co-React represent the PLM consulting practice at Inspirage. And Inspirage is the leading implementer of Oracle value chain applications, value chain planning, value chain execution, and PLM. And specific to PLM, Mike, myself, Pete, go all the way back to Agile PLM in the 2000-2001 timeframe. And that's consistent with the team that we have as colleagues implementing PLM. I mean, our lineage is that people have been doing this successfully with multiple customers across industries for north of a decade, and we're known for developing, delivering, partnering with customers to enable innovative solutions. And that's going to be one of our themes today, which is how to derive more value from your investment in Oracle Agile PLM via innovations, and to do so quickly with total cost of ownership in mind. So with that, what we're going to talk about is we've really sort of put, we're classifying our innovations into two categories, if you will. We're going to talk a little bit about immediate things that are top of mind with a lot of our customers right now relative to compliance, regulatory considerations and such. And we're going to show you two solutions that we have developed in concert with Oracle that are available and are being implemented today. So we're very excited about that. And then we're going to also talk about the ability to leverage these as a foundation and a framework for enablement of future regulatory and or compliance considerations, because I think we would all agree that those aren't going to be reducing anytime in the near future, certainly. So when you think about PLM, this is a chart that probably many people are familiar with, right? It's all about having a secure repository where you're collaborating with the extended supply chain. You're providing visibility into new product introduction, into product change management. And with that comes the ability to accelerate product to market, to really better manage quality, cost, compliance, and to really move that entire curve you see to the left and iterate on subsequent new product development. So what we're going to talk about again are multiple ways, both near term and longer term, to really enable movement of that curve to the left, and again, to really derive more additive value from the investment that many of you have made in Agile PLM. Okay, so when you think about the evolution of PLM, in a pretty short amount of time, the capability set has been expanded considerably. So, a lot of people are very familiar with the notion of, the engineering bill of material, workflows, electronic signature and sign-off, right? But, we're helping a lot of customers these days really integrate other enterprise processes to management of the product record. So, product portfolio, project program management, compliance management, quality management. And as you really sort of move up and to the right into enterprise PLM, we're going to talk about two use cases again today that are in the regulatory compliance space, if you will. And the reason that we've selected those is that, again, these are solutions that we have developed in concert with Oracle. They're implementable right now. And beyond that, there's some significant dates that are in the 2014 timeframe. And we're going to talk about those as well. So, I mean, the imperative is to get compliant quickly and leverage that as an investment and a foundation for growth and more strategic value. So the two categories that we talked about, the first one is really more compliance centric. So we sort of sometimes refer to this as almost a tax on the business. These are things that you have to do, right? You have to be able to report on whether you have certain substances in your product, like REACH and ROS, right? And again, those aren't going to be reducing anytime in the near future. You have to be able to report on other traceability considerations and ITAR considerations and things like that. You have those are table stakes and becoming table stakes if they're not already in terms of releasing new product. But more strategically, through increasing integrations and maturity, we're helping clients really incorporate the product element of NPI into the supply and demand element of NPI, right? So integrated business planning, design for quality, cost, compliance, and a lot of other processes that span the organization, that span applications, and where integration really derives and enables much more value. So what's the key to implementing these things successfully? I had mentioned that several of these imperatives have dates that take place in 2014, right? So one of them specifically requires that by May 30th, 2014, you report for the calendar year 2013 in terms of did your product comply with respect to conflict minerals. So we're going to talk about the initiatives, but important to be successful is to have a solution that really is minimal in terms of disruption to your business, that is adaptable, that is rapid to implement, that leverages the investment that you have made into enterprise PLM. So the theme is really get compliant now and derive additive value of that in the future. Okay,
thanks, Mike. So I'm very excited to be talking about these next two solutions that we have for you guys, to walk through how we can manage a rapid deployment with these and get for innovative solutions and extend your value of PLM. The two that we're going to talk about, our first is conflict minerals, and the second one is for those of you that are regulated device manufacturers, the unique device identifier, or the UDI. In both of these, you're going to see a very common theme. It's about getting data, getting that information from your different systems, getting it all different, acquired into the Agile PLM space, managing that information in there and enacting different business rules, different validations that are specific to those particular regulations, right? So there's specific rules to conflict minerals to ensure that you're in fact conflict-free. And there are specific rules to the unique device identifier to ensure that you can submit properly to the FDA. So it's more than just getting the data, it's about managing this data, building business rules on top of that data, and then being able to report against this information, sending this information out, sharing it with those that need it, your different stakeholders and partners and customers, the FDA potentially as well. And on top of that, bringing it back to the front of your process, designing for this going forward. It's great to be compliant and be done, but how do you ensure that when you're building your next product or you're making change to information that's in the field is going to be still active, still compliant, and still ready to go for the next time around? That's what these two solutions are going to talk through right now. So the first is conflict minerals, as Mike kind of teed up already, right? I'm not sure those of you who are familiar or not familiar with it, but it's a socially responsible act about not being associated with minerals that come from regions of conflict, such as the Congo, right? And it's ensuring that you can report out to say all of your particular materials that are in question are in fact conflict-free. They have not come from these regions, and it's a social responsible act that I'm sure your customers are going to be pulling from you to say, are you in fact conflict-free? I don't want to be associated with you if your information is coming from a particular smelter or location that is in fact not conflict-free. So this act goes into effect immediately, and you need to be reporting out in May of 2014 to say you are conflict-free and ready to go. So what do you need to do to manage this, right? How do you go about this process? Can we do this on a spreadsheet? Sure. Can I do this in an email somewhere and talk through it? Absolutely, and I'll be done. Great. That's going to check the box, but that's not going to help you going forward, right? It's really not. What are we going to do? What we need to do is we need to aggregate this data. Right, we have this information in so many different locations, and we've built an adapter, an integration, directly with the EICC. The EICC is the agency that is regulating for particular smelters, those that are conflict-free and those that are not. In addition, we've also have adapters that go into Total Parts Plus and IHS to do other type of extraction of data out of the particular systems to support components and obsolescence and other information as well. So we pull the information into the system, we integrate it, we then manage it. We manage it inside PLM, we pull that information, run the various business rules and templates against it, and then we execute on it and report it back out. Again, the key is, this is a cycle, this is data that's going to be changing, this has to be scalable. You can do it once, great, but can you do it every time? So what I'm going to show you now is how we bring that into the solution and now do it for every single time going forward to ensure that you are in fact conflict-free in the future as well. So here we've got a couple of screenshots from our solution. We'd be happy to do demos later on as well. We're over in Moscone West at the Inspirage booth. So in this particular case, we have the data that came directly out of EICC. It's an integration that was built for us. The template data is here. We're pulling it into the system. It's being housed here. You've got it. Now, the different various business rules and validations are being applied to determine are you or are you not conflict-free based on the information your supplier has given to you in the EICC form. It's a standard Excel form. that you guys are probably getting from your suppliers and your information today. On top of that, we aggregate that so you can get a view of, for your particular manufacturers and their associated manufacturer parts, what smelters did this come from? Very exciting information, but the reality is you need to know. You need to be able to report on this. The system gives you that view of that data set to be able to show the information and be able to share out and see this. And it's going to give you, hard to display here, going to give you the information that shows you, are you compliant, not compliant, are you missing that particular information or not. And this fits right on top of if you're doing ROS management, REACH management, WE management, battery initiative, water initiative, all the other particular regulations that you may need to be managing as well. And then finally, reporting. So for that particular product, bring the information back up to the product level and tell me, let me do my analysis and reports that say, for this particular product, am I or am I not conflict free? The system regenerates the information every time you get new data in to enable you to do that proper analysis. To switch gears quickly here, we're going to talk about the FDA's unique device identifier. This is 6 years in the making for those of you who do medical devices. And what we're talking about here is the government is asking for every medical device company to submit what is their medical device and share it into a database called the Good Idea Database. The Good Idea Database manages this information and shares it with customers, hospitals, healthcare providers, so that when you go in, this will be tied to you and you'll know exactly the different medical devices that are associated to your patient record. The intent is to help out on traceability and adverse events. If I have a pacemaker and for some reason there's been a recall to the pacemaker, they need to be able to know all the different places this pacemaker is currently in the field and being leveraged and used. So for those of you who've been waiting for this, because it's been out there for a long time being talked about, as of this morning, it is live in the system. So we have 12 months from today, for those of you who are Class 3 products, to start and be live and be able to sell your devices. If you're not able to submit and manage this data, you cannot sell your device. It's pretty cut and dry, right? So that's as of today. We have 12 months starting right now. It's officially released this morning. Again, how do we do this? The same process, right? Consolidate the data from various different locations, allow us to manage the data through different processes and templates, and then publicize the data back out to the FDA. PLM in this case is your center spot. It's your interim repository in between systems such as enterprise data quality that's pulling the data in and submitting this information out to your customers, to the FDA, and to other locations as well. Our solution that we're going to talk through here sits directly on top of this information, works with this. Mike and I were at a conference last week. We were with the FDA at the UDI conference in Baltimore on Thursday and Friday, where they officially released the final rule. It was very exciting. They actually toasted with champagne and gave everyone glasses because it was 6 years in the making that they finally got to this point. And our solution, we talked through it with the FDA, aligns exactly with the activities that they're doing as well. It sits right on top of how we need to manage the data and be able to support this. So briefly, how does this work? It's a three-step process. Again, the first is aggregating data, leveraging tools like Oracle's enterprise data quality to pull data from multiple different systems, streamline, normalize the data, and import it into Agile. It's management of the device identifier data inside Agile PLM in the various pre-built, pre-configured templates that have all of the FDA business rules built in to the particular templates. This has what you need to be able to start being compliant today and get the information to the FDA. And then leveraging the content you already have from your other information, such as your bill of material and other data that you're storing today inside of PLM to manage what we call packaging hierarchies, which is relevant with regards to the FDA and how you submit the data set. And finally, and probably most importantly, the automated submission to the FDA directly from Agile via life cycles. As you go through the process, as changes are made, the information is directly integrated and sent off to the FDA as part of the integration. So again, a three-step process: aggregate the data, manage the data with the various templates and information, business rules specific for that specification, and then publication and submittal outbound to the various stakeholders that are necessary.
Okay. So thank you, Mike. So again, I mean, these are very important dates. These are very important initiatives. We're pleased to have worked with Oracle on solutions like this. And in the future, again, we're going to be focusing on how to extend the value of PLM, this investment that you've made. You're managing your product record in PLM. Let's think about integrating that to other business processes that really are peripheral to your product record, your documentation, and your NPI processes. So as an example, extending enterprise search, enabling integrated business processes and planning. And those notions are really where we're helping leading companies, again, drive much more value from an enterprise class PLM solution. So with that, again, would like to thank everybody for attending the session. I hope everybody has a great open world, and thank you for your time.
Let's have a nice round of applause for Michael and Mike.
Thank you.